Hello, comic friends. It is another Wednesday, so time for another Thank God It Is Wednesday. The best day of the week, new comic book day, TGIW. Here we go. So, the last few, multiple weeks have been painfully large. This week, I mean, almost fell over. Does that tell you anything? Is not really any exception. Though I do have a little bit of news on this front. So here's the week. Here's the week in one shot. No trades this week though. That helped a little bit, but it's still a chunky week. And I have these sort of split in a very particular way, which I'm going to talk about in a moment here. So let's take a look at what we got, and then we'll talk some more about stuff. So Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood, number 3. This is still weird to me, as someone who generally does not like Wolverine, or did not like Wolverine. I kind of care about Wolverine now, and this Wolverine Black, White, and Blood has been really, really good. The whole it's only in black, white, and red. All the blood and stuff is red, but it's Wolverine's all right. Wolverine's all right, I guess. Who knew? Who knew except everyone but me that Wolverine is kind of cool? I stopped fighting. Power Pack, number 3. This has been okay. This is falling right now. This is falling in the it's a limited series. I'll just write it out sort of thing. I think I like the idea of Power Pack more than I like actual Power Pack. But for the future, noted for the future. Fantastic Four number 29, so King and Black tie-in. Have Human Torch. Should probably do pretty well against things that really don't like fire. So he's probably okay. Daredevil 27, another King and Black tie-in. So, I mean, I think... Yeah, I only have 2 King and Black tie-ins this week, and they're both books that I get anyway. So that helped a little bit. But Daredevil and Elektra being Elektra, and Elektra being Daredevil and Daredevil, this is so good. Daredevil in jail, stuff's going on. Daredevil's like, look, you gotta let me, you gotta let me out of the cell so I can help. And then Elektra on the outside, trying to take up a little bit of the slack of Matt not being out there. So good. This is probably. I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as to say the best, but definitely one of the best. Actually, I'm not gonna say the best, but I will say in the top, maybe 3 superhero books that are on the shelf right now, and has been for a while. So good. Amazing Spider-Man 59, Mr. Negative. I never really cared for Mr. Negative as a villain. He's a little too. I don't know. He's a little too easy. He's like, I'm a nice guy who has this dark alter ego, literally dark alter ego. It's Mr. Negative. He's the negative side of me. Yeah. I get it. Very clever. Very clever. I'm never gonna drop Amazing Spider-Man. I can't drop Amazing Spider-Man because I'm 6 issues away from a full run of Amazing Spider-Man. I can't drop it now. Like I can't. But I wish it was better. I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man so much. Why can't his main title be better? Like, it's not horrible. It's just it's not as good as it should be. Eternals number 2, first issue of this, fantastic. I love the Eternals. I've read the 12 issue mini that came out in the 80s. I would really, really like to read the original Eternals run. I don't know. I know there's an omnibus, and I'm not real big into omnibuy. And getting the individual issues is not something I'm really in the market for right now. But I would really like to read it because I do like the Eternals. Because I read through that. Hey, don't chew on my shoes. She's not chewing on my shoes. She's chewing a bone on top of my shoes. So she's chewing something on my shoes. Anyway, don't do that. What was I talking about? So I read the first volume of What If, and for a while there were backup stories that was like the history of the Eternals. And I'd never really read the Eternals that much before. And when I read that, like it talked about the deviants are and all this, like this is really, really cool. This is some cool Kirby styled stuff. So then I picked up the 12 issue mini that was in the early 80s. It was really good. So it makes me want to keep going back and reading more. Rorschach, I don't really care about Rorschach. I really don't. It again falls in the we'll write it out because we've gotten this far. Though I'll talk about that later. So yeah. And then we have our weekly 7 future state. It's so much. I've mentioned it before. I did not realize what I was getting myself into by saying, yeah, give me all future state. I've been enjoying it, but it's a lot. And if I knew it was this much when I said that, I probably wouldn't have done it. But it's done, and I am enjoying it. But I do need to do a better job of realizing that you can't read it all. There's so much good stuff out there, and some of that good stuff that you know is good stuff, you're gonna have to let go. And I'm struggling with that. But anyway, future state, we have Teen Titans 2 with our Red X, Kara Zor-El, Superwoman, Green Lantern, Justice League, Superman, Superwoman, Robin Eternal, and Dark Detective. That's $7. I don't think any of them are actually like the. Yeah, 3 of them are $5.99, but there were some like $7.99 ones. I don't think there were any of those this week, which is good. Give me that bone. Give me that bone. You can't be trusted. You're being too extra with it. Stop. Is this kind of what it's like to have a child? I don't know. It's too much. Okay. So there's part 1. Part 2. So I've separated my indies. And I'm lumping Image in with that. So it's like main DC, Marvel, superhero stuff, and indies. And I'm doing this for a reason. We'll see. But Knock 'em Dead number 3. Homesick Pilots number 3. First thing I'm going to read. Super good. Last Witch number 2. The first issue of this, it was adorable. It was cute. It's Boombox. It's aimed towards a younger audience, but that does not mean that there aren't stuff for an older audience to enjoy. And Last Witch was it was fun. It was cute. I really liked it. Origins. I think this is a really good book that no one's talking about. And I think what hurt it is that its first issue was not great. Its first issue did not give any idea of what the book was going to be about. So I'm guessing anyone that read issue 1, or most people that read issue 1, they're like, that's it, I'm done. But issue 2 is where it's like, okay, this is what this thing is actually about, and it is interesting. So I recommend picking, at least waiting for the trade and picking it up and giving it a read. Scout's Honor, the first issue of this, there was so much to love about this, just from the general premise to the main character. It was so good. I'm really excited to read more of that. I Walk with Monsters. I think this was supposed to be a lot bigger than it was. I enjoy it. I had higher hopes for it, but it still doesn't mean it's bad. But I've enjoyed the first 2 issues. Did get this number 1 here, Radiant Black. So, if I remember the solicit correctly, it is this superhero comes on the scene and he's pretty powerful, but is it like his power is coming from something, right? And that it's draining the power from something, and that something is maybe going to be coming after him. I don't remember exactly, but there was some sort of little hook in there besides just a superhero sort of book. Something about where he draws his power from. And I got a variant of that. The only variant that I got this week. Can you believe it? Especially, I meant to mention. Homesick Pilots had a total of 3 covers. I only got the 1. I liked the other ones as well, but I only got the 1. I had to resist it twice because at my first comic shop I went to, I had them in my hands like, yeah, I'm going to get all 3 covers. They're great. And I resisted, and I put them back. Then I went to my second comic book store, and they had them as well. I'm like, maybe I do want all the covers. And I resisted again. Good job, me. TMNT number 114. Still one of the best books on the shelf. The Encoded number 1. Did this come out last week? I don't know. Whatever. It was interesting. I picked it up. And The Devil's Red Bride number 5. This has just been a fun book. Ancient Japan. Well, no, ancient. I don't know what Japan considers ancient. Samurai times. Whatever samurai times are. This is really, really good. All right. So, something to notice. There has been a slow shift going on in my comic reading. If you look at and compare my stack of Marvel DC to my stack of indies, they are very close to each other, especially considering that my stack of Marvel DC has 7 Future State books in it, which normally wouldn't be there. On a good week, I'd have 2 DC books. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I take 5 of these DC books out. Indie overtakes Marvel DC. There's so much good indie stuff. So I think, and so I've made I made changes to the pull list. It's been in the works for a long time that I've needed to do this and been thinking about it. I cut some stuff, and I cut stuff that I enjoy reading, but I can't keep up. Like it's costing too much. It's taking too much time. It's taking too much real estate. I can't do it. And it breaks my heart to have to drop some of these titles that I know I enjoy reading, but I have to make these hard decisions. And it sucks. In addition to me wanting to read a lot of these great indie books that are coming out. And I got to be honest with myself. I'm enjoying the indie books more than I'm enjoying the superhero stuff. The superhero stuff is great. I'll always be a superhero fan. And there are certain books that, I mean, Daredevil is as good as it's ever been. It's fantastic. Hulk is fantastic. They are top tier level reads. But when I get to things like, I don't know, like Fantastic Four, right? I do really enjoy it, but not as much as I'm enjoying other stuff. I'm not gonna cut Fantastic Four though. I can't do it. That's one run that's been going on for too long. I can't do it. And like no one else reads Fantastic Four. I feel that someone has to read it, and if it has to be me, it has to be me. But I did have to. I cut Conan, and this Marvel series is the only Conan I've ever read, and I've been really enjoying it. I cut Savage Avengers. That was a little easier to cut, to be honest. I cut Captain America. I cut Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, it's gonna be cut right before the new team switches over. It just seems like a good breaking off point. And I'm not going to be doing as many miniseries. That new Morbius miniseries came out this week. Normally I would have picked that up. I left it. I realized, thankfully, so my original stance with Black Label is I get all Black Label. Which really, it's a stupid stance. Like, at first, it was fine because there was only very, very few Black Label books. But now there's a lot, and I need to be more selective. But I did realize that I missed one. I never got any of the issues of there's like a Harley Birds of Prey or something like that I didn't get. So I've already broke it. I've already broke the Black Label streak. So I'm free now. I'm free. I will finish Rorschach. I will finish Joker, Harley, Criminal Insanity. Because there's other history of the DC universe, which is so good. It's really good. It's a long read because it's mostly prose, but it's really good. So I'll finish that, and Batman, Catwoman, or Catwoman, Batman, or whatever. But from now on, any new Black Label that comes out, it's not going to be an auto buy, which it usually has been. I just, for better or worse, I just happened to like the Harley Birds of Prey. I just missed it. Maybe it was subconsciously because like there were already like two Harley books out, two Black Label Harley books out. Right? There was the Harleen, the Criminal Insanity, and then this. Like, that's too much, especially for someone who doesn't really like Harley Quinn. But things are going to be dying down a little bit. It might take a few weeks for that, to kind of take effect. Because when I dropped those books, at the same time I did add some. I added indies because indies is what is knocking it out right now. And the thing that's really keeping me from some of these like not being able to fully give the axe to some of the superhero books is just my connection to the character themselves. And again, not that I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying Fantastic Four. It's not the best, but I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying Spider-Man. It's not the best, but I am enjoying it. But I can't. Some of them I just won't ever be able to cut. But yeah, once Future State is done, like this is, I think we'll be okay. I'll just not have to do that again. Except this Heroes Reborn from Marvel sounds really fun. So once Future State is done, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Give me all Heroes Reborn. I'm gonna be in the exact same spot. But we'll see. We haven't got to that bridge yet, so We'll see about that. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if how your if your buying habits have changed in recently because of the style of books that have been coming out. Like, there've always been good indies out there, but there's never been this many good indies, like, ever. There's so many good ones, so many. So let me know how that's affected you, or are you just strictly like Marvel, DC, superhero, maybe some image splashed in, or whatever? Is that your thing? I understand getting into some of the indie stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It's a whole nother universe to have to worry about. Like, at least when you're like, if you're just Marvel and DC, you understand those universes for the most part. I mean, I don't think anyone can fully understand the DC universe because they've messed that up so many times that it's completely unintelligible. But you feel comfortable there, right? You kind of understand. You understand the rules or the lack of rules. And getting into indies where each individual title is like, okay, you have to mentally get yourself into a whole nother world with different rules and things like that. I understand it can be a bit much. But let me know what if your strategy has changed. Not strategy, but your buying habits or reading habits have changed with this like surge of great indie stuff. So yeah, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit notification bell, all that stuff, and of course, don't forget to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.